Hello, welcome to a Confederacy of Dunces. And I have a question for you. Do you like the movie Blazing Saddles? Because if you do, or if you like any character-centered TV show like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you will probably like a Confederacy of Dunces, providing you can understand satire as it's being read to you, and you can tolerate some of the social decisions of the 1960s. There are racist characters, there are bigoted characters, there are not politically correct statements made to and fro. Most of them, however, are designed to mock the characters who say them. So I don't think that you'll be thinking that the author is particularly racist or has particularly awful views from the end of this book. Most of the humor within the book comes from satire, which is like a Stephen Colbert kind of satire where you either get it or you don't, and it doesn't really connect. A lot of people also find that the characters do not connect with them, as they're all kind of terrible people within the first 75 books, until later on you kind of get a feeling that all their flaws actually endear you to them, and you actually kind of start rooting for them because you see that they're trying their best despite their flaws. Some people this doesn't connect with, either because of the satire or because the characters are all kind of screwed up. But for a lot of people, this really does the trick. In any case, the interactions between the characters tends to cause the crux of the plot to happen. And the just way that logic spirals out of control, but still kind of makes a pseudo-sense, especially with how the way these characters think, is something that is uniquely special. Like, there's all these tangents that end up solving the plot in one way or the other that are just kind of introduced because two characters you've already known meet with one another, and a completely new plot emerges that you're like, oh my gosh, that actually makes sense that they would start talking about this. What the heck? For example, the main character, Ignatius Riley, is a bigoted intellectual who may be representative of academia in general because he refuses to do anything without his way of doing it. And he tends to look down on all people. Actually, everyone might be a representation of some facets of society. In some cases, that's definitely true. I'm wondering if that's true all the time. I started thinking of them more as individual characters. But regardless, Ignatius finds a gay character, and then he starts thinking, what would happen if more disruptive industries were entirely replaced by gay people? That would certainly make the industry better. And then it leads to this line. I suspect that beneath your offensively and vulgarly effeminate facade, there may be a soul of sorts. Have you read Widely and Boethius? Who? Oh, heavens no, I never even read newspapers. Then you must begin a reading program immediately, so that you may understand the crises of our age, Ignatius said solemnly. Begin with the late Romans, including Boethius, of course. Then you should dip rather extensively into early medieval. You may skip the Renaissance and the Enlightenment. That is mostly dangerous propaganda. Now that I think of it, you'd better skip the Romantics and the Victorians, too. For the contemporary period, you should study some selected comic books. You're fantastic. I recommend Batman especially, for he tends to transcend the abysmal society in which he found himself. His morality is rather rigid also. I rather respect Batman. And there you are! There's your character! Like, you got your cringe comedy, you got your White Knight, you got your neckbeard, and then you got the king of cringe, Ignatius Riley. Like, what more could you ask for from dialogue? Holy crap! If you can deal with the cringe, both the good and the bad of it, if you like satire, if you want a 60s throwback, which is the biggest way I enjoyed this, it reminds me of the same characters in Blazing Saddles, in all the tropes, all the characters, all the kind of humor from the 1960s. If you can deal with something offensive nearly every page, then I recommend A Confederacy of Dunces. See you tomorrow. A white knight defending ladies' honor, especially the dairy mates. That's why he smells like dairy, yeah. Riding across the countryside, with great donkey at his side. When you look upon his mask, you'll soon say, wow, what an ass!